All right, guys, I'm here with Louie Scafetta on the MMA Fight Game podcast. Louie is fighting May 6th in a number one contenders 170-pound MMA title fight at Rage in the Cage 22 at the legendary Bill Grays Iceplex behind MCC in Henrietta. He is fighting out of Bohn MMA in Leroy, New York. His head coach, if you don't know, is the OG of MMA around these parts in Rochester. Louie, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. How did you get hooked up with Jake?
So it's not exactly my hometown. I graduated from Batavia High School, and just a lot of people I knew from I wrestled through high school and stuff, and a lot of the connections that I made through high school wrestling, just with other kids in the Genesee County region and stuff. A few people I know train over there, and I was kind of looking to get into it. And a couple of the guys reached out to me, and they're like, "Hey, man, like, it's a great gym over here, great atmosphere. We got some really talented people here, and you should definitely reach out to Bohn and see if he'd have you here, and start training here."
Now, who's your head coach wrestling in Batavia? Rick Stewart?
Rick Stewart and Kenny Darts, yes, sir.
Oh yeah, I know those guys. Rick's son Cap is amazing.
Yeah, he's something, man. It's been incredible to watch him come up. I remember him running around on the mats at 4 years old when I was coming up through high school, and to see to know him back then and see what he's doing now, it's been pretty incredible to be able to witness that and watch us come up. And I'm excited to see what he's going to do in the future too.
Yeah, it's a big wrestling family. That little gym that they have right across the street from the baseball field right there in Batavia is amazing. I've known Cap for a few years, Katie and Rick as well. So it's good to see that. So you got some good coaching on the wrestling base. Now you got you got Jake in your corner giving his knowledge. What's your current record right now?
I'm currently 1-0 right now. My last fight was this past November. I haven't been quite as active as I was hoping to be. I came off that victory. I was feeling really good. And we were kind of shortly thereafter, we were right in the process of selling our one house and buying another one. And just when I go through my fight camps, I like to be, really focused on what I'm doing and, feel prepared before I walk into another fight. And I like to know when I walk in there that there's no doubts in my mind that, I put in enough work. And so it's kind of just been my thing right now, just getting back into the swing of things. I've been feeling really good. This camp's been great for me so far. I've been able to really dedicate a lot of time to it. And, I feel like I've made some pretty big improvements, and, I'm looking forward to being able to utilize those in this fight.
Yeah. Now you mentioned who's we? Is it you and your wife?
Yeah, me and my wife. Yep, that's correct.
Is she an MMA fan?
Yeah, she is. She comes to my fights. She's been to all my jiu-jitsu tournaments and stuff. Me and her have actually been together since I was in high school. So she's been watching me compete since I was a wrestler in high school, and it's kind of stuck with her ever since. And she's always kind of supported my journey, and it's definitely been cool to have that support base going forward.
Yeah, that definitely helps, having a wife or a significant other that helps encourage that dream and that journey. So you're 1-0. You're in a number one contenders title fight, Rage in the Cage 22, May 6th. With a win, where do you go from there?
So I mean, obviously the hope is to eventually secure a belt. Yeah, obviously I think that'd be pretty cool. I try not to put the carriage too far in front of the horse. I think I think we all hope for that win. I know how hard I'm working every day, in my personal life and inside the gym also. I'm definitely not going to overlook the fact of my opponent. He's definitely a very game opponent. And I think I got my work cut out for me. I think it's going to be a good and exciting fight. I think it'll be a good test for me. But going forward, if I do walk away with the victory from this, I'm kind of looking towards, there's another fight coming up in July for Cage Titans. That one, or Cage Wars rather. Sorry about that. And that one's definitely something that, I'd like to get on that card, also. And then after that, the next, full contact promotions fight, hopefully at that point they feel that, I'm eligible for, the title fight. And, I definitely think that that's something I would like to do. I'm kind of full steam ahead right now with the fight game, and that's kind of the path I'm on right now. I'm really focused right now. I'm driven, I'm got a clear head, and that's kind of what I'm working towards.
And what do you when you're what do you walk around? What's your walk around weight?
I stay pretty lean. This will be the lowest I've ever fought. I walk around between I fluctuate between 180 and 184. But I'm pretty, I stay pretty tight with my nutrition and stuff. So it's not like I'm relatively close to the weight I fight, but at the same time I stay pretty lean. So it's still a pretty decent cut for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about 5'11" or so. So, I think 170 is where I need to be. My last fight I fought, it was a catch weight fight. We decided on 180. And that cut was pretty easy for me. And I think this one won't be too terrible. Going forward. Like I said, I've been kind of tapering off a little bit starting this week, and next week I'll really start to, cut back on my intake on food and figure if I could get within 6 or 8 pounds, kind of just do a water cut for the rest.
Yeah. And then, did you say you own your own business as well?
Yeah, I do. I own my own drywall company. I was formerly a union carpenter. I did that for 6 years, and then kind of decided just to go out on my own, open up my own drywall company. I do a lot of most of my work's residential. I do some commercial work. I actually got a big commercial job starting on Monday. So I stay pretty busy with that, pretty much work all day doing that. And, it's just me. So I definitely stay busy, work a lot of long hours. And
how do you balance that with fight camp?
It's a little tough sometimes. There's definitely some days where I get in the gym and I feel a little banged up from the day before, just, a little low on sleep and hard day at work and stuff. But the nice thing about being your own boss is you can, to some degree, make your own schedule. So, I set aside time to, I structure my day in a way that I'm in a position to, peel out of the job that I'm on and go train for 2 or 3 hours. And then it's right back to work for me after that.
Now, when you book jobs and stuff, do you tell customers ahead of time that you have a fight camp and kind of explain it so they kind of know what the deal is if you don't show up one day? And if you do, how do they receive that?
So I try not to get super personal with my customers. I try and keep it as professional as possible. I guess I would say the way I structure my day, there's really not too many scenarios where I never not show up for the whole day. If it's a situation where, I'm not going to be there the whole day, I'll kind of just tell them hey, I got to run out for a few hours and, go take care of some personal business and go and do my thing. And, after that, put my work clothes back on and head back over. And a lot of the jobs too, they're empty houses and stuff where, whether it's a new build or, a gut job and a remodel. So a lot of the times that's not super critical in those aspects either.
Yeah. And how many hours a night do you sleep?
Right now, probably not enough. Usually, if I'm being truthful with you, probably 4 or 5. I work some long hours. I'm usually up and out the door by 5 a.m. and usually don't get home till about midnight. So
now you're going to dial that back for the fight week?
Yeah, I've been kind of tapering off. I finished up a couple jobs I had going on this week. And I've kind of let my schedule just rest going forward. I really only got, one job going on for the rest of this coming week. So I'll just kind of coast along on that, and kind of start to settle things in and get rested up. And, I got about 2 hard sparring practices left. And, after that, I'm just going to kind of coast along and, work on the cardio and stuff going forward and just staying sharp leading up to the fight.
Awesome. So again, before we get to those rapid fire questions that I mentioned to you earlier, you're fighting May 6th with Full Contact Promotions, Rage in the Cage 22. You're in a number one contenders fight for the 170-pound welterweight title. If people want to get tickets and support you, how do they do that?
They can contact me. They can either, text or call me, or reach out to me on Facebook. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, just my name. If you search it, it'll come right up. And I have a bunch of tickets. I have VIP 4 seats and table seats available still. So I got a bunch of those. So anyone that's looking for those, I can, get them hooked up with those and meet up with them and get those over to them.
Yeah, and I don't know if all the fighters on the card realize the location that you guys are fighting in. It is a legendary location. The sight lines for the fans are going to be unbelievable. It's a legit venue. I guarantee the performance is going to be like no other. It's really, I'm really excited for you athletes to be in that venue. I was there when they built it. Doing the hockey. I've seen concerts in there. I haven't seen a fight yet, but I'm excited to see all you guys scrap on May 6th. And that's something just in itself. Like, it's a legit venue. There's I think they can fit over 3,500 people, and hopefully everybody comes out and supports you guys and gets out there and really, put Rochester on the scene for. I can't say enough about the venue, like how excited I am for you fighters to be competing there. It's badass.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it too, and just seeing the way the card's stacking up, and how big of a show it's going to be for everyone too, with just the amount of people that's coming on, and the people that are actually going to be there fighting too. There's some pretty incredible talent that's going to be there, especially with it being an amateur fight. I think people are going to be really surprised to see how skilled some of the people are that are performing that night. I think everyone's going to be in for a pretty good show for sure.
Yeah, and I'm excited. I bill it as the future stars of tomorrow for sure. Do you have aspirations to go pro?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would definitely be pretty awesome. I've been fortunate enough to have some really great training partners, and I've traveled around to some other gyms and, had the opportunity to train with some of the local pros around here. And that's been really cool. It's interesting to me too, to see the level of skill variances, from amateur to pro, and, how far into pro careers people are, and like the skill set that they possess in that, in that aspect. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I definitely think that's a dream of mine, to get to that point. Maybe not necessarily like full on career, but I do love the fight game and I love to compete. The rush of it all, it's really cool. I like that, the mindset that it puts me in, and, gives me something to work towards. And, I definitely would love to do that someday. I think it's pretty cool accomplishment, sometime in my life to say I was able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just got a few rapid fire questions for you before we go. In MMA, who's the best striker?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think I might be a little biased though, just because I think I don't know if he's necessarily the best striker, but I would say probably my favorite. And he's not even really competing anymore. I've always liked Chad Mendes. I think he's got that, he's just got that bulldog personality. I like the way that he strikes with his wrestling and stuff like that. I think he's just got a cool style that I like. I don't necessarily know if he's the best or the most technical, but he's just got heavy hands. He's quick. I think he's just, he's a cool striker to me. I like the way that he fights, and he's kind of up there for me as far as, who I think is a pretty good striker.
Yeah, I have a funny story about Chad Mendes. Actually, he's got a fight coming up in bare knuckles soon.
Yeah.
I think in the next 2 weeks, right?
Yeah. I think it is 2 weeks from now.
Hold on one second. I'm going to tell you my story about Chad Mendes, and I'll shoot after we get off the call. I'll shoot you a picture. Yeah, he's fighting Eddie Alvarez April 28th
Yeah.
in BKFC. So we were out in Vegas at UFC 282. We were walking to the arena with just a couple of dudes. We're walking from Vidar into Aria, and then we're going to cut through and we're going to go over to the T-Mobile Arena. As I'm walking into Aria, fucking Chad Mendez walks right out.
No shit.
And I'm like, Chad, what's up? I'm like, dude, we miss you. And he's like, hey, I really appreciate it. I go, when you get back in the cage? He goes, there should be an announcement soon. And I'm telling you, bro, you said he's got hand. That dude is built like a brick shithouse.
It's incredible. He's a freak.
Like, and he's jacked, bro. And he just spent the weekend with his wife in Vegas or whatever. I go, hey, you going to the fights? He goes, nah, we're gonna get back to the kids or something like that. But the dude literally, I don't think he was expecting anybody to notice him. And I was like, whoa,
Right.
what? I go, Chad, what's up? So
that's awesome.
Who's the best grappler?
Oh. I mean, man, that's a tough one. I guess, I mean, I kind of got to go with Khabib on that a little bit. The dude's just a grizzly bear of a human being, and he definitely has mauled people that shouldn't be getting mauled like that. You know, to just watch him manhandle Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts like they've never grappled before is definitely quite the spectacle to see. You know, he's pretty impressive. I don't know. I gotta give it to him on that one, I think, a little bit.
Okay. Who's the funniest fighter?
Funniest fighter? I think O'Malley's pretty funny. You know, just with the hair and then, you know, some of the antics he does inside the cage. I think he gets me cracking up pretty good sometimes. And then, you know, if you follow him on Instagram and stuff, his Instagram posts are pretty comical also.
Yeah, he's a pretty funny guy. Who would you like to have dinner with?
I don't know. That's a tough one. Probably shit, I don't even know, truthfully. Okay. I had never even thought of that question before.
Yeah, no, it's just something fun, you know, like we do interviews to build and show, and you know, you're like the second person that said Sean O'Malley tonight. Who would you want by your side in a street fight?
Oh, in a street fight. Jiri Prochazka. That dude is a freaking psychopath.
Yes. Who has the highest fight IQ?
That's a tough one. I think Max Holloway's pretty legit, man. Okay. He's just, especially like prime Max Holloway, seeing like stand-up wise, like watching him fight, I think I gotta give it to him a little bit.
Awesome. All right, cool. So Louie, you're fighting May 6th at the Bill Grays Iceplex, #1 contenders fight for the 170-pound full contact promotions welterweight title. They can reach out to you at Louie Scafetta. They can search you on Instagram, Facebook, and we look forward to seeing you scrap. We'll be at the weigh-ins. We'll probably get some sound bites. We'll be there fight night and stuff like that. Definitely want to grab some stuff there. I'm going to stop the recording now, and then we'll just talk offline. All right.
Sounds good.
Appreciate it, buddy. Hold on.